Got you. And is there like a major difference? I'm assuming there is, like, between the computer science and then project management, or did you see the flow from that experience into the project management role?
Yeah, that's a great question, Asam. And yes, and when I started my career, I was actually a programmer and then went into a quality assurance kind of work. But back then, very quickly, I realized that within the software industry, the right work or the right kind of work which I was interested in was project management, which was to gather the customer requirements and then pass it on to the techies to actually do the programming for. By doing that, year of experience right at that stage. The company I used to work for was called Cressoft
Yep.
back in Pakistan when I
Mhm.
recently graduated. Cressoft at that time was the largest software house in Pakistan. It was part of the Crescent Group, which has like I don't know, 20 companies. They were pretty big, and I was fortunate enough to get into that. And of course, they guide you, they teach you, and all. And the first couple of years of experience was brilliant. You get into a new company, you're getting your first paychecks. It's beautiful. You love every bit about
Yeah.
it. But unfortunately, back in 2002, the software industry major fall down
Yep.
all over the world, by the way, not just in Pakistan. So I decided to move into the industry side, which means that I decided to become an IT manager. And you mentioned that in my introduction as well. After a couple of years, I joined an organization called Levi Strauss, which most of the people in the world know about. We all wear jeans.
Jeez.
Levi's is a global operator, but that company had a major association, which I have in my heart for that company, because that opened the gates for me for understanding the concept of multiculturalism, diverse teams. At that time, I was working with people from all over the world, be it people from Brazil or Indonesia or India. Our regional head office was in Singapore. So I used to travel over there quite a
Mhm.
lot as well. And all these other IT managers would fly in over there as well as part of our IT management conference. And just making friends at that time from people all over the world would open up your mind to understanding how people work and how to understand people more. That's when, and of course, after a couple of years, I realized that project management is the way I moved to go forward. I got an opportunity to get into telecom, worked there in Pakistan for a bit. Then
Yep.
I moved to Dubai, did a few big projects over there. And as you may have heard, when you're in Dubai, you want to think about the future as well. So tried to apply for my immigration back then, the same kind everyone applies for. And things worked out. And that project management concept stuck with me. I did my PMP back in 2007. Of course, I'm still maintaining it. I did teach and coach project management to a couple of hundred students by now as well. I used to teach risk management in Pakistan and did a couple of classes for PMI Arabian Gulf chapter in Dubai as well. I'm still a member of PMI chapter locally as well, and of course I've always tried to coach my own teams towards some skills of project management as well. And I always consider myself as a student. So as you may have noticed through my LinkedIn profile, so I did a very detailed certificate in advanced project management from University of Toronto. It was 6 courses program, so it took me like 2 years to do that. And then, of course, I did another course called Steering Complex Projects, which is from University of Cambridge, another one of those online courses. But the one which I recently did, and I'm very proud of it, is called MBA Essentials from Rotman Business School, and opened my eyes and my mind more towards the business side of the delivery. So it helps you and guide you. The reason I'm telling you the story is because to my colleagues and my friends and all the Pakistanis who may be listening to this, I would like to say that work keeps on going on, but building up your own skills by studying and learning all the time, that's the way to go. You should always be open to learning new skills, and that can help you grow everywhere.
I guess, what was your challenge when you were in project management? Like, where do you find like the difficulties, either in the courses or in work?
Yeah, of course, there are various challenges you can talk about. But when you're working here, the good thing is that it depends on your organization. The current organizations which I've worked for, including Rogers and TELUS, they're very helpful for your trainings, your well being, thank God. and they're considerate towards you. I usually do discuss it with my management to let them know what I'm planning to do or what I would like to. So I would like to do these things with the blessing of my organization as well. That kind of helps in case I need some extra time or et cetera, et cetera. So it really works out well if you are doing it in the right way, if I may say it.
Okay. And the shift between Converse to Rogers, how was that process like?
Sure. Converse was the largest value-added service provider in the world, and they used to provide services like voicemail and SMS to big telecom companies. And Rogers was my client. And there was a time after working in Comverse for approximately 2 years that my client, who was Rogers, they reached out to me and they said, if at any point you decide to leave Comverse and want to work for one of the big three telecom companies in Canada, we would like to have you. And that was, of course, I felt wonderful about it. Anytime someone says something like in those terms, and I personally believe that appreciation is the key to develop anyone or to coach anyone when you're grooming them.
Yep.
And when they told me that they appreciate my work, and if the right opportunity opens up, they would like to get me to apply for it, it felt like they appreciate the work I'm doing. And that kind of made me more interested in applying for that post when that opened up, and which did open up in the next few months. And I applied over there. And then I was very happy and I saw growth over there as well. I've
Yep.
worked in Rogers for 5 years, still have that certificate over here on my desk, which said worked in Rogers for 5 years.
Okay, and in terms of, do you mind just giving like a breakdown? So I know you had multiple like areas where you worked in Rogers. Is it possible to give like a day to day for what you might have done? Obviously,
Sure.
not revealing anything too private, but like just in general.
Yeah.
Um,
The project management I used to do in Rogers was towards the core network. And by core network, if you understand the concept of telecom a little bit, or the traffic is actually routed through the core networks. So our organization within Rogers was focused on upgrading the core networks all the time. So be it security upgrades, be it capacity upgrades, be it anything which needs to be for Rogers to be capable for newer traffic to come in to make it secure for the Canadian people. It would be typically our internal organization which would be working on. So I would typically work a lot with engineering teams
yeah.
who would write the idea of what upgrades do we need to do. And then the project management group would take the input from engineering and get it implemented through the operations team, who would then go in and say that the method of a procedure would be to do this, and this, and we would only do it during the night. So the idea of a project manager would be project manage,
Yeah.
making sure that there is no downtime, there is no concerns, work is done in time and budget, etc., etc. That was the kind of role I used to do. By the end of the 5 years career, I was an acting manager of a team of project managers over there. I had a great career over there. I
Yeah.
had great relationship in Rogers as well. I still have friends in Rogers, as you can expect. So yeah, that's pretty much about it.